So, it was only a matter of time that Sony followed in Nintendo's footsteps with its own throwback console, and we're getting it, the PlayStation Classic. And it's coming with about 20 games, which is alright. So, what is it coming with? Well, if you hadn't heard yet, it's Final Fantasy VII, Jumping Flash, which I have no clue what that is, R4 Ridge Racer Type 4, which, again, I have no clue what that is, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms are the ones that have so far been released that we know of these 20 games. 2 of which I have no clue what they are, because I've never played them. So, okay. Anyway, it's planning on launching December 3rd. And it's going to be launching for $99.99 US dollars. And yeah, essentially what it's coming with is it's going to come with a couple of controllers. They're going to be classic PS1. I personally would rather have the DualShocks, but you know, this is the classic, I guess, throwback to when it first came out kind of deal. And we can't have DualShock controllers. I prefer the DualShocks, but I guess I can deal with that. But anyway. And, other than that, it's got an HDMI port. So, you can plug it into any current TV. And it's got, some kind of virtual swap button. The open button apparently is some kind of swapping a virtual disc. So, it kind of feels like you're actually taking the disc out. Yeah, that's a thing. But really, I guess, what are the issues? There really isn't one. Other than, it doesn't include an AC adapter. Which, honestly, I don't understand why. I'm pretty sure, I think it was the NES Classic also did the same thing. That is the one thing I don't like about these, for whatever reason. They're trying to cut costs by not including a AC adapter, which really sucks, because if you're not paying attention to the box and look at where it says, by the way, there is no AC adapter, you might want to pick one up, or somebody doesn't tell whoever's buying it, especially if they're buying it for a Christmas present or something like that, or somebody's birthday that's coming up in December or the month after. They're going to open it and then realize they have to run to the store just to power the dang thing. Why? Why can't you include the power adapter? It's like going and buying a car and getting all the way down to it and go, oh, by the way, I know you bought this car, but the steering wheel is not included. Or the wheels are not included. Who does that? Well, apparently Nintendo and Sony does that. So, that's my only real gripe about it. But what kind of games do I want to see? Well, so far I think it's got a decent lineup of the 5 games, even though 2 of them I have no idea what it is. I like Final Fantasy VII. It's probably what really got me solidified into gaming. I had a PS1, got FF7, I watched my brother play FF7, which got me into wanting to play FF7, and here I am today. I'm a huge gamer, who knew? Anyway, things that I wouldn't mind also seeing, Digimon, one of the Digimon games, I would like to see that, Bloody Roar, be awesome to have that one on there. The fact that it doesn't have the analog sticks, of course, kind of sucks in a way, because there are some games that function better with the analog sticks than the D-pad, especially if you're getting into the early 3D games. I understand that they haven't aged that gracefully, but we are talking about a new technology on a 5th-gen system at that point, and people were coming into learning how that stuff works, so some of them were clunky and other things, but I wouldn't mind having, like, Ape Escape coming back on the Classic. That would be nice. I don't remember if it really needed an analog stick or not. It's been a long time, but I enjoyed that game. I wouldn't mind having it come back. And Brave Fencer Musashi. If you've never played that, I recommend you go play that. That was a good, fun game from Squaresoft back in the day. I know it wasn't Final Fantasy, but it was different. It had platforming, it was action. It was a good game. Of course, they could put FF8 on there. I honestly wouldn't care one way or the other if they did or not, but Twisted Metal or Vigilante 8 would love to see one of those two on there as well. There's still like 15 more games that they can put on here. They haven't said anything about yet. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 1. I think 2 was a PS2 game, although I would really, really love to have Marvel vs. Capcom 2 come back in some way, shape, or form, because I swear that is so much better than any of the other ones that they've done so far. But other than that, I think that's about it. They recently remade Crash Bandicoot, and Spyro's coming out in a HD remake, so honestly, I don't see the need to put those onto the PlayStation Classic. You just did remakes for those, and I feel like it would be a waste of a game that you could put on there. Harvest Moon Back to Nature. I had a lot of fun playing that one when I was younger. Wouldn't mind seeing that one come back, especially on, the PlayStation Mini or Classic or whatever it is you want to call it. And Castlevania Symphony of Nights. That, I'm pretty sure, was a PS1 era game. That needs to be on the console. Of course, that one definitely needs to be on the console. Would love it if that one was on there. But only time will tell what they're going to put on there. They'll trickle down this information. It's getting closer to the holidays, so they can't be waiting too long. But I'm sure we'll figure it out soon enough. But the real thing is emulation. Now, I know there's probably people out there. Yeah, I've seen this argument. Why do you need the classic when you can emulate? I got it. I emulate too. I know how to do it. Other people know how to do it, but guess what? The normies out there don't. And in fact, some of the gamers, a lot of them may not know how to properly emulate. Especially if they're a console peasant. Yeah, you console peasants out there. Don't get me wrong. Y'all love your consoles. That may be the only thing you play. So what you get to play classic games essentially is if they've got it up on their eShop somewhere, or you go find your old console and plug it in somewhere and try playing it that way. And to those people, they may not know how emulation works. They may not know how easily it is to emulate. So having this classic console, even though $99 feels a little steep, especially for just 20 games, and depending on what those 20 games are, may not be worth it. Although, then again, last time I think I looked how much Final Fantasy VII itself cost, classic, buying the old PS1 game, I think it was kind of close up there to that price point. So maybe FF7 alone would be worth the price. But then again, I also think it might be like on the eShop for like $10 or something, or $7.99 or something like that. So, you just have to weigh it. Do you really want it just for this one game, or is there a slew of other games? Or could they go the SNES classic route and add a game that maybe was in development? Because some games were. They were close to completion, or even on completion, and then they just never made it. They got canceled right there at the end. We could see some of those. Can't remember if Mega Man Legends was a PS1 or a PS2 game. If it's a PS1 game, I wouldn't mind having that one. I feel like it was a PS2 game. I really can't remember. But anyway, somebody can correct me later. Or I can go look and correct myself later. But, you can put all the old Mega Man games on there. But then again, that runs into the Capcom just sort of threw out their anniversary editions out there, and it's like, we could just sort of throw in all the Mega Man games under like just Mega Man and say Mega Man as one of the 20 titles, and then under it has like all the X games and Mega Man 8 or something on it. All the X games up to like X5 or something, and then call that would be fun. I would enjoy that. It's not gonna happen, but I would enjoy it. But yeah, when it comes to emulation, a lot of people don't know how to. I know some of us do. We know how to make a Raspberry Pi and stuff like that. And then again, on the other hand, it also can be easier when it comes to it, because you're getting official hardware and controllers for it that already have the HDMI port and everything. You don't got to make anything from scratch. And then from there, all you essentially have to do is add other games to it that you want to do. And honestly, I feel like that's the easier play to do, especially with kids. You know, they may not understand or remember how to boot up the Wii, go into the Wii menu, go into the homebrew channel, click on this, and then it brings up all the games, and then they're fumbling with a really wacky Wii remote because, you know, the classic controller broke or whatever 2 weeks ago, and they can't use that now. So, you know, with the classic consoles, you can still add things to it if you know how. And of course, that would be our emulation group. You know, everybody who loves to emulate as it is already. You know, essentially, it's just an easier way to do it. You know, you don't have to deal with something that may be unreliable, that may fail later on. You've got this official piece of hardware with an emulator that already you know works, and you don't have to test out 15 different emulators to do it. Heck, I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I put homebrew on my old 3DS to play the Mega Man X titles, because honestly it's so much easier using a controller, and I didn't have a controller for my computer at the time. So, you know, I went through like 3 or 4 or 5 different emulators just to find one that would work and properly run all 3 of the X titles with no issues for Mega Man X. You know, normal people don't really know how to do that, so this classic console is good for them. It's also, of course, good for Sony, because then, you know, people buy it, Sony gets money, all that good stuff, you know, and then they decide to make a classic console for the PS2 or something. And, you know, honestly, the further up we go, sometimes it's harder to emulate some of those games. And you know, if you don't have a really good knowledge of how to go about doing it, you may find yourself stuck with trying to play like Need for Speed 2 or something, but it's not wanting to work properly because you can't find an emulator that wants to run it. But, you know, if they already have the hardware set up, it makes it a lot easier for novice emulators to properly maybe emulate some of these games, especially if they can figure out, you know, through tutorials or whatever, you know, using the onlines and such, to throw on more games onto these and emulate, and then you're going to wind up with a nice library on a classic, small, fitting console that you can pick up and take somewhere too. You know, you can just pick it up, take it to your parents, you know, take it to your friends, take it to your whatever, and plug it in and play. So, other than that, I'm kind of excited for it. Will I get it? Hopefully. I don't know. I'm poor. I probably won't, but I really want to. Maybe I'll add it to a Christmas list and somebody might buy it for me. Who knows? But anyway, what do you want to see on the PlayStation Classic? That's what I want to know. What game do you want most to show up in that list of 20 games? Final Fantasy VII, definitely a good one for me. Final Fantasy Tactics, would love to see that one too, although I do prefer the PSP version over the PlayStation version, so would be nice if maybe they put that in its place, or if they did do Final Fantasy Tactics, had it like the PlayStation version and then you can swap it to the PSP version. Now I'm getting sidetracked again on what I want to see, but I want to know what you want to see. Let me know down in the comments down below what it is that you want to see on the PlayStation Classic. Would you even be interested in, say, a PlayStation 2 Classic, if that's even a thing, you know, later down the line, because the PS1 Classic did so well? And what do you think about the fact that they don't put the adapter in there? You know, no power cord. Do you not like that, or are you okay with that? Or you know, what's your thoughts on that? I personally don't care for it. I wish they would put it all in the box there, so you just take it out, plug it in, and play, and not have to worry about it. Because, you know, people out there don't know this. People out there won't read the box. Parents won't read the box. Trust me, I know this. I had parents who would buy me things, and then I would take it out, and it's missing something, and it says it clearly on the box, and I have to wait until Walmart opens up, the next day to be able to go and get something. But hey, that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Till then, I will talk to you later. See ya.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, smash that like button, and always subscribe for more. And of course, there are other videos floating around somewhere on the screen, so click one of those and see if you can find something that suits your fancy. Till then, I'll see you later. Bye.